right, here's what we have next. What I did is I bought a piece of salmon from our meat department, our meat and seafood department. It's a Norwegian farm-raised salmon. Very nice piece of fish. What I've got is the tail portion. I had these 5 strips that were connected, so I had almost a whole side. So I cut the strips off, removed the belly meat. Well, they removed the belly meat for me. It's a beautiful piece of fish. So I'm going to work with that salmon and scallops and make us a little dish off of that. Okay, what we're going to do today, I'm going to take the salmon. You guys can see all this? Okay, we're going to place it down like that. This is the skin side. So this is the inside part of the fish. I'm going to take one of these nice sea scallops. I'm going to set it on in. I'm going to kind of wrap it. I'm going to well, these are longer skewers. I cut them in half. They're twice the size. So I just snipped them in half with a little culinary scissors. What I want to do really is I want to get this tucked where I create a seam in it and go right through it. And it usually takes a couple of them. If I get it on 2, I'm having a good day. So I got it on 2, so far we're doing pretty good. Do another couple of them. Okay, now you don't have to use just salmon on this. You could use tuna, you could use grouper, you could use any kind of fish you want. You don't have to put scallops in there. You can even stuff them with jumbo shrimp. Okay. Or you could get jumbo shrimp and wrap those around the scallops and do a shrimp and scallop dish as well. Got a lot of options when you're cooking. Certain times of the year, okay, there we go. Certain times of the year, that ain't gonna work. Some of this may work. I don't need the toothpicks or the skewers. I can use straight rosemary. This time of year, it's growing so quick that actually the growing stem here, it's almost like a twig, so that's a little too thick. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just take it from the side that's, this is growing upwards. I'll just take the rosemary and skewer it on through. And that's about as far as I'm getting today with it. So I will leave a little bit of that attached so I know it's there when I pull it out. But what that does is when you're cooking with it like that, the flavor of the rosemary is cooking from the inside. So you get a real nice flavor going with it. But we won't be doing that today because, again, that rosemary is just a little too, I don't know, not firm enough, kind of young rosemary. All right, we've got a little olive oil in there. That's plain olive oil. I guess I could use a little lemon. It's not going to hurt it. See, again, it's not going to hurt it. You can cook any way you want when you're cooking at home. This one calls for ginger. This is a fresh ginger root, and there's a few ways to start preparing that. Take a vegetable peeler, and you just peel that off. And you peel, what's cool is you can, it'll last in your fridge for a while, so you can peel a little bit, use what you need to, and then cut it up. On this dish, I don't really need to get too, I'm just going to float it in the pan as it's cooking to pull out that flavor, so I'm going to thin slice it. We're just going to, you'll see when I put it in there, it's just going to kind of simmer around the saute pan. I'm not going to brown it up a whole heck of a lot. This pan should be hot enough. Oh yeah, I see it bubbling a little bit right now. Now I may have my pan a little too hot. You guys want to see some action? Okay, now we're going to drop our rondelles, shrimp and scallop, or salmon and scallop rondelles, to a little of the olive oil. A lot of people always ask, how long do you cook fish? And my response is, till it's done. And that's a personal preference, though. I like my fish cooked, and spent a lot of years in the culinary business and working around different restaurants, hotels, and with a lot of different chefs. Yeah, I did work with Emeril for a little bit, for a couple days. I did. I did some. This was before he was famous. He graduated culinary school at Johnson & Wales 2 years before I did. And when he finished culinary school, he was a teacher's assistant. So that's how I ran into Emeril back then. But a lot of chefs, you know, will cook tuna or seafood. They say it should be medium rare. And I don't buy into that. I think you cook seafood the way you want it to be cooked. Some chefs get upset when they cook a nice filet mignon. Somebody wants ketchup on it. But the same chef will give them A1 steak sauce, and I really don't get the difference between ketchup or A1 unless they got stock in the A1 company. You cook it how you want, and you know, I'm using seasonings that, you know, are preferential to me, but they may not always be preferential to somebody else. So 3 to 5 minutes on each side of a piece of seafood that's about 1 inch thick should get you covered on medium to high heat. Now we're going to drop in the ginger. Using just a little dry mustard in this. This recipe does call for soy sauce, but I took the soy out because we're not supposed to be eating salt. Soy sauce is all salt from what I gather. Got a little dry ginger here. If you don't want to mess with regular ginger or fresh ginger, you can do that. Got pineapple juice. I've got a little coconut milk, and this is how we're going to finish this dish today. So what I did is, you can see the ginger in here, just kind of floating around, and that flavor is being imparted into the rest of the dish. Again, I'm using a little coconut milk, a little pineapple juice to kind of set this one off today. You notice I always go back to using my fingers. There we go. So now we got them browning up nicely. So what we're doing tonight, we're going to serve buffet or a plated dinner. All right. We'll just take a little of the veggies that we got, rip them around the edges of the plate. And then back to I swear I get messier every day I get older. I used to be like, this would never be. I guess it just don't matter anymore. Okay, so what we have here is we're going to get a nice serving off of this. Just release the sticks or skewers, whatever you want to call them. And this will kind of hold on to itself right now. It's, you know, the protein is, you know, come together and it's holding on its own. So you can take for a single portion, for what we recommend to eat these days, this is where you should be. Back in the good old days, I probably would have served 2 of those on the plate. But you know, part of what we do when we do the chef in the dock, and if it's, you know, hypertension, if it's diabetes, if it's heart healthy, it's all about moderation and configuration of your plate. The majority of this plate is vegetables and grain. And then we get into the proteins. Back years ago, it was, you know, the big 22-ounce steak or the 18-ounce steak and, you know, a little pile of vegetable or potato. And really the way to go is if you can, you know, control the configuration of your plate, you're going to be much better off in the long run with whatever you eat. So you can garnish it with that. That would go in right about now. Actually, right before I take it out. And you just kind of swirl it like that, and you make make a bit of a sauce in the pan. Now I poured it right on over. Okay, so the pineapple juice coconut. That was just a little squirt of each. And then that just gets drizzled right over the fish. There we go.